Happy to say my ROI this week is 31.49%. So that's a strong ROI. My goal every week is just to hit 10%. So this week I am very thankful for an ROI of 31.49%. Hey, how's it going? It's Rocky. Welcome to week number 26. It's a very important week because it is the last week of the quarter 2 for the year 2023. And that means that we're now halfway done for the year. 2023 has gone by really quick. And what I have up on the chart here is the MYM, which is the micro for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And what I'm showing here is the past 4 weeks. Normally, I just do a quick summary of the week, but I want to run you through my thoughts on the past 4 weeks. And it's very important because it's when the rollover occurred, when FOMC occurred, and I just want to get through exactly what happened there. Before I start with that, I just want to point something out here. You can see this big gap here, which actually affected the way I traded. But thanks to J-Rock, he made a comment on one of my posts up here, and it's a feature I actually didn't know on Thinkorswim, and it's an important setting that I think should be updated. So J-Rock, thank you for this. I know J-Rock has been following my channel since about 2020, if I got that right, so I always appreciate the advice that he gives me on YouTube. So this gap here, like what I said, this occurred when Thinkorswim automatically changed from the June 15th contract to the September contract. And because of that, I'm gonna follow what J-Rock said because I think it's an important thing. So it's on settings, and then on settings there's a tab called the futures, and just pay attention to this as I enable it. So there's a box here where I can adjust for contract changes. I'm gonna check that box, and I click apply. That gap should disappear. So there you go. So now you know it's been adjusted for that, and hopefully in the future when I have rollover, then I won't have that problem again. And that's something that I've always struggled with the past few years trading the futures. I've been doing this since roughly 2019, 2020, trading the micro futures. 2019 was when the micros were first introduced. If I have that date correct, correct me on the comments if I had that date wrong. And I should have known about this. So again, J-Rock, much appreciated. So now here I have the last 4 weeks, and the reason that I'm showing this is just to give you my thoughts on how I played this the past 4 weeks. Because if you're following my content either through my daily posts on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, or on Reddit, you can see it's been an up and down past 4 weeks, where the last 2 weeks was actually negative. Now you can see that I have my trades buy and sell throughout the chart, but I do draw vertical lines for visually for me so I can go back and understand it a lot better. So I'm going to turn that on. And as you can see here, orange is normally when I do close a contract, and blue is when I open a new one. And white is usually when I either average down or add more contracts to it. And when I add this ellipse here, this means that I lost that amount of I lost during that period when I was trading this. Hopefully you'll understand my thoughts on why I do swing the MYM. And the important part here, this was Friday, June 2nd, and I'm gonna bring up my posts again on YouTube. You've been following me on the community tab. I do post my daily on how I'm doing, and we're gonna look up on what happened on June 2nd. On June 2nd, it actually went up by 700 plus points. So that was a very, very strong day for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. As you can see here, is up 715 points at the time that I took this screenshot. And on this day, we actually had a pretty nice day. It was a total of $2,348.82. However, I was scarred by this because my swing made $13,417, and I made sure I closed all my contracts because I knew the rollover was going to occur in June 15th and FOMC coming up. So I was being safe, but at the same time I was hedging and my hedging went the wrong way and I lost $11,000. So this was a day that really could have been a magnificent $20,000 day, and that really just scarred me a little bit. And going back to the chart, that's what this is. So I closed my June contract here on June 2nd because I just all the ups and downs, I was just mentally drained. So I wanted to make sure that I was gonna basically approach the rollover to September correctly and the FOMC. So as you can see here, this is the start. This is June 5th, 6 here, June 7th, June 8th, and you can see there's still I haven't entered any, so I had nothing on my hedge. And what makes it difficult is if I have nothing on my hedge, when I'm intraday trading, I'm going both up and down, and that was actually affecting the way I trade. I prefer that my hedge is just long for the entire 3 months, and on my intraday, then I can focus on shorting, on just scalping really a few seconds, a few minutes, sometimes a few hours. So that's just me knowing my own weakness, and that's how I fix my weakness. And then here, basically, Thinkorswim will do an automatic switch on the contract, normally the Thursday before the expiration date, and that's what had occurred. And that was a difficulty in me. It was hard for me to enter on the September contracts because the numbers were so different from what the existing contracts were, and then it just kept going up. It wasn't until this day, on FOMC day, and this was the 14th, this is when I decided to add some contracts, as you can see here. And then the following day it popped up so much that I ended up closing all of that again. And I think the frustrating part for me is that from when I closed it in around 33,800, I missed out on almost 1,000 points, because up here we got out to about 34,800. So a lot of that, I had a lot of FOMO on it. I was mismanaging the rollover incorrectly. I was reading the charts wrong, and that's the reason why I added some contracts here right at the peak, knowing that I needed that system that I have where I need to have my MYM be just long on a long, so that way I can focus on my intraday. But due to that, just because of the comments from Jerome Powell and other central banks, and I knew that it was actually going to go down a bit. So at one point I actually had a big short on here on my YM, and essentially this week, lost a bunch of money on there, but I knew that it was heading down, so I just kept adding a little bit. So I was basically replacing the high peak with something lower and taking a loss. And eventually this week, I'm thankful that from the data that came out on Friday, where it seems like the inflation is finally slowing down, we actually had one of our better weeks this week for the year 2023. So we are ending Q2 on a strong note. We are ending, the first half of the year on a strong note. And please stick around on the statement. I do have a timestamp below if you want to forward there, and you can see exactly how we did for this week. So now let's go through the account statement. I'm recording this on Friday, June 30th in the year 2023. It's 4:02 p.m. in the Pacific Coast. And normally on my weekly content that I release on Fridays, I just go through a high level on the week, and also I go through my account statement for transparency to give you a look on exactly how we did for the week. However, if you were curious about more on the technical side, on my entries, my exits, and whatnot, I do a recap. Actually, if you'd like to join me, I have a playlist here that I call a live trading recap, and there's one way you can look at it on the playlist here, or also you can look on the live tab. So on this live tab, I do have, basically, I'm trying to do it every day, but I'm not getting to see as much views as I would like. But hopefully with more support on this, then there'd be more motivation for me to do it. But on these content, I try to go through my entries, my exits, and my thoughts on the market. And it's a recap because I don't want to do a live stream like other folks who do it. I know there's a lot of popular trading channels like Trades by Matt and other folks like that, but I don't want to do that because I don't want to basically affect the way you trade. I'd rather just do hindsight of 2020, I guess, and just go through how I did for the day. Anyway, so for my account statement, let's just go through the description here. I just want to point out that we did make one deposit this week, and our deposit was down here, which is $3,000. So what we'll do is we'll add that to our ending cash for the week. And this week was actually a tough week. Even though it's our best week, it was actually a tough week because, as you can see here from the two snapshots, I did receive 2 margin calls, and that's because my position sizing needed a little work. I basically bought too much on my hedge that when I did have a losing day, it went below the amount of margin that I had, and that became problematic. So I actually decreased some of what I had on my swing, and that's a very important thing. Position sizing with futures, it's not like day trading penny stocks where you try to maximize the amount of money you have. You need to be able to size your positions a lot smaller if you are swinging, because you need to be able to sleep at night when you do it. So we'll bring the calculator up here, and we will calculate exactly how we did for the week. So our ending cash was $43,869.10. But as I mentioned, we withdrew $3,000, so we'll add that back to our ending cash. So our actual ending cash was actually $46,869.10. And we will subtract our starting cash. So we'll scroll up to our starting cash, which was $35,645.10. So for the week, happy to say this is our best week ever for the year 2023. We had a 5-digit profit, believe it or not. We had, after commissions and fees, we had a week where we earned $11,224. So I am quite ecstatic about this. I hope that we can continue this type of momentum moving forward. But at the same time, the market has a way of making me humble, because if you remember a few weeks ago, I was celebrating 4 weeks in a row of profit and how I made more than my previous W-2 income on a monthly basis, and the market made me pay the past 2 weeks where we are actually lost about $9,000. But I'm happy that for this week we're able to recover the losses from the past 2 weeks. And yeah, this is just part of trading. It's a business. I never claim to say, hey, look, I only have to trade an hour a day, because trading the futures and how I am approaching it, I'm approaching it like a full-time job. I'm sometimes working more than 40 hours, and I'm sometimes working during the evening and even the graveyard just to be able to trade the different markets. But that's really a choice of yours. For me, it's a choice that I'm happy to do. My hard work, I see a relation in what I earn, as opposed to a W-2 income, right? You can work the overtime as much as you want, impress your bosses, be the top engineer on where you work, but the results will still be the same. And heck, sometimes if they don't like you, they'll just give you half of what your deserved bonus is. But anyway, maybe I'm going a little too personal there. Let's calculate what our hourly equivalent is for this one. So divide that by 40 hours. We had an hourly rate of about $280.60 per hour. Basically, the statistic that I'm more happy about, or the one that I really want to share, is the ROI, which is return on investment, because we all have different account sizes. So the true way of measuring your success is really the percentage ROI. So for the week, we had, as I mentioned, we had a profit of $11,224. Let's divide that with our starting cash of $35,645.10. And let's multiply that by 100. Happy to say my ROI this week is 31.49%. So that's a strong ROI. My goal every week is just to hit 10%. So this week I am very thankful for an ROI of 31.49%. That's my content. I know it's a little long this week. I'm just ecstatic and very happy for this week. If you need to hear this, please, if you're struggling with this, please just believe in your system and you'll get there. And of course, if you've been on a winning streak all this time, also remind yourself that humility is quite important. All right, hopefully you enjoy my content. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one, and also have a great 4th of July weekend, holiday weekend. All right, y'all have a good one. Thank you.